Hi, I'm Clarissa Williams with Cookeville Now and Highlands Insider. We are at the City Council meeting tonight, and we are talking with some folks who have been addressing the homeless situation in Cookeville. And I'd like to have you tell us a little bit. You said earlier you guys had helped over, I believe, 100 people. And then you said that you guys offer a lot of services, and you all were here initially just to say thank you to our City Council folks. So for those that are not familiar with this program or the issue at hand, can you tell us a little bit about one thing that I heard is the counseling that is provided and the amount that is saving taxpayer dollars, so we're not sending additional folks out. So I'll give you a two-part question. We'll start with that.
Okay, so Cookeville Community Cares is made up of HIP Cookeville, Helping Hands of Putnam County, the Recovery Kitchen, the Cookeville Human Fund, and the United Church of Cookeville. So I'll start by saying that. And our goal is to have a low barrier shelter in place for our homeless. But it could be absolutely for anyone. Back in 2020 when we had the tornado, had we had this in place, those people would have had a place to go also.
So you said that for the tornado in 2020, everyone's familiar with that was here at that time. One thing that folks may not realize is this is also a mitigation crisis communication program. So how does that work? If there were a crisis, is there any limitation to that? Is it more like a disaster that someone has said, hey, this is what we're deeming this?
No, it's just we all get together and decide, is this something? The other night when the storms came through, Blair immediately was on the phone with Brandon saying, do you need us to open up? So it can be for anything, but our goal is to provide a safe space with low barriers right now to the homeless community, as well as to get them services while they're there. So we do everything from food stamp applications to the counseling to housing applications, job employment. We brought Luke Eldridge in to talk about jobs, medications. We've got some people that have been off of medications. We're getting them over to the behavioral health to get on medications and anything else that they may need.
And Blair, we were talking earlier about the counseling that can occur, and I believe Vice Mayor Eldridge had referenced earlier that it potentially saves every person could cost, every homeless person that is, could cost $14,000. And you guys have helped blind gentlemen recently that came in by bus, but there's also that counseling session that happens. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, it's unique to each individual that comes in there. They all have their own issues, so you have to actually get to know them and talk to them and see exactly what their issues are. So it may be they lost their ID somewhere along the way, right? So this prevents them from getting all kinds of things, including they can't go get their Social Security card if they've lost that as well without that ID. And so it's a cascading thing. So it depends on where someone is. A lot of people, they don't have their birth certificate. They're born in California. Something happened to their birth certificate. Then they don't have a place to actually have their birth certificate mailed to. So they have to have an address. And it's just, and they don't have a car to go all these places and do these things. So as far as counseling goes specifically, it's more of a support that we're offering them, and it's kind of, and of course they have to be open to accepting it. But everyone's in a different situation, but we deal with them as human beings, not as homeless people. So.
And then you all were also mentioning earlier that there's a difference with, everyone's probably familiar with the Cookeville Rescue Mission, but you said you all offer different things than what they offer. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, the Cookeville Rescue Mission does have code blue beds available when the temperatures drop below 40 degrees, but overall they are more set up as a drug and alcohol rehab center with a code blue and an emergency section separate from that. What we're trying to do is to provide low barrier a low barrier place for them to be able to go. And when I say low barrier, it's like if we can possibly take you, we will. We try to keep everyone safe, and we have the list of rules. There are no drugs on the property, no alcohol on the property. You have to get along with people. Those kinds of things, but we try to have as few rules as we can and still keep everyone safe. And that's ultimately our goal.
So right now we have all kinds of things going on throughout the country, lots of rumors. With the homeless population or folks that you guys are helping, are you seeing illegal immigrants that come in to utilize the services?
No, I think I have said before that, and I spent 25 years in Naples, Florida. I grew up here, spent 25 years in Naples, Florida. The Hispanic community takes care of themselves. It seems like when one of them is down, someone else is there to pick them up, and then the next happens. I believe that anytime I have been around that community of people, that is what community is all about. They have it right.
And I also lived in Florida, so I can say you're absolutely 100% correct. So as far as other rumors and things, one of the things that we hear about is different things in the community. So are there other rumors that you feel need to be dispelled so that we can make sure it's on the record?
I just want, like Blair had said during the meeting, I want people to understand that the stigma behind homelessness is just that. It's just a stigma. We have some people in there that if they were walking down the street, they look like you and I. Mm-hmm. And they are just beaten down or down on their luck. Or, as I said last year, I feel like a lot of times they've had one life situation that brought them to their knees and they've not been able to recuperate after that. And so sometimes it's just a matter of us getting them back over that hump. We have, which we didn't say at the meeting, but we've had several of them go into transitional housing, sober living houses that are doing really well. Some of them have gone there from our past shelters right after our shelter has closed, and now they're our volunteers. Mm-hmm. And so that is our ultimate goal, is how can we get them over these little humps to create something new for them. And sometimes it's just a matter of one person saying that they know they can do it, and that's it.
And as a person who has friends and family members that have dealt with domestic abuse, what kind of services do you all offer for those that have dealt with that or dealing with that now?
So we do have someone who has offered to do just straight up counseling for us when and if they are ready. So we do have that in place. But more so than anything, it's just a matter of sitting down with them, getting to know them, and trying to figure out on an individual basis how we can help them. And then we go and we find those services, whatever they look like.
Blair, anything to add?
Yeah. So, like today, we had to go get an animal vetted because they had that. I mean, it's just, you don't know how the day's going to be made up at any given point in time. And I guess one of the biggest misconceptions is that every homeless person is on drugs or they are mentally ill. And there are plenty that are, but so many more are not, in our experience. And so it's a stigma that's attached to people, and I understand if that's all you've ever heard in your life, then that's why would you believe anything different? So I invite people to come find out different. We operate completely with volunteers. Nobody gets paid in this, and it's completely community supported right now. And so, yeah, come on out and find out for yourself. You'll make some new friends.
And I'll ask one other question, and then you guys can finish out the interview. Social media, people say things all the time. We can't always control social media, but there are folks who have said that you guys are providing a service because people have to do something with faith or faith-based services at the rescue mission. Is that true, or is there anything that you guys can add to that, or have you all heard those also being said?
No, I don't think that it has anything to do with faith-based or not faith-based.
I would say that it does run out of a church right now.
Right, but I mean, as far as like whether we're doing it because it's faith-based or not faith-based, we don't care where they stand on that line. But definitely, United Church of Cookeville has been over backwards. They have been over backwards for us. And just when I think that we can't get another person in there, Simon tells us there's 5 more places. So I think we're just different from them. We're just different.
So from my perspective, as a member of the community, and we have freedom and we have all this, then we have responsibility. And that responsibility is to our neighbors. And everybody on these streets and around us are our neighbors. And so it's our responsibility to do it.
Anything else, you guys?
No, I would say one other thing, and it's kind of off topic, but I'm also the director at Helping Hands of Putnam County. And as long as we keep seeing the rise in the housing, and I had someone bring in a utility bill a couple of days ago for $799 for January when it was cold because they're in a trailer. As long as we keep seeing that rise, we're going to see more people on the street, and we're going to see people like you and I on the street. So I just feel like as a community, we need to start looking at that as well. Yeah.
I think there was a statistic, I can't think of it right now, but where everyone's like 1 or 2 paychecks away. It used to be 3 months away from being homeless. So there is a lot of help out there, and we hope that this service serves our community well. We are thankful for the City of Cookeville letting us use this facility to do this interview really quickly, and thank you guys for being here tonight.